today.
You do realize we're already filming.
Oh, God, we are? Mm-hmm. All right, give me a minute. Get my game face on here. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Alice Brown and Lady V here, bringing you a special Wednesday edition of our YouTube channel. And today we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to me, and that is running a business with a chronic illness, and that chronic illness is fibromyalgia. What you just saw at the beginning was what I call my game face, okay?
Or putting on your game face.
Putting on my game face, yeah. From when I'm hurting, and you know, it's a lot of mind games just to get out of bed in the morning quite often, to survive the day, to get through, but sometimes you do what you have to do. I am very lucky that most of our work is done from here at the house, so that if I have a bad day, a lot of it can even be done if I'm in bed, and you know, some of the writing and stuff does get done from me just propping up in bed.
A lot of the writing that you do is done from bed. When you do the creative snippets for the books, that quite often is done in bed late at night when, you know, Alice is ready to retire for the day and just can't deal with it anymore.
Very true. So we're going to go through a discussion today, talking about what it's like to live on a day-to-day basis with fibromyalgia, or any other chronic illness for that matter. There's a bunch of them out there. There's fibromyalgia, there's lupus, there's your
MS,
there's arthritis. You've got
multiple different types
of arthritis, which I've already been diagnosed with the beginnings of rheumatoid arthritis myself. So there's a lot out there that affect people, and just looking at a person, you can't always tell. Quite often you can't, especially, you know, I've dealt with fibromyalgia now for what, about
at least 8 years.
Yeah, about 8 years now, I guess. 7, 8 years, somewhere around there. I have perfected this game face, okay? I know if I have to greet the public in any way, shape, or form, I have to have my game face on. It's just what I do to get through.
So we have put a list together of questions / topics that we would like to touch on today with Alice on dealing with fibromyalgia while running a business, or a chronic illness while running a business. If there happens to be anything that we missed or that you would like to know further, please be sure to leave your question down below in the comments, and we will answer them as best we can. Do keep in mind that fibromyalgia, along with rheumatoid arthritis and numerous others like lupus and MS, are different for everybody. So fibromyalgia is not going to be the same across the board. Just because Alice feels these things does not mean that somebody else with fibromyalgia does.
Of symptoms that go with fibromyalgia, and everybody, it's different for everybody.
I will also put in, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And that is something we battle on a daily basis with people. Just because they can't see what she's feeling doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I've had people actually look at me and go, there's nothing wrong with you. You look fine. Just because you look fine doesn't mean...
That's not the case.
You know, that you feel fine. Not at all.
The same thing goes on with so many people with eating disorders. You can't see it most of the time. No. But it's there.
It's there, and it's very real.
I'm going to start at the beginning.
Okay.
What are some of the joys of waking up with fibromyalgia?
Oh, good
or
God.
Lack thereof.
Getting up in the morning is probably the worst time that you have, because you wake up, and the minute you move from being stiff all night and not moving, you know you're going to be in pain the minute you move any part of your body at all. It doesn't matter what. And so you sit there and go, is it worth it? Do I really want to go through that pain? Or should I just reach over and slap that alarm clock and say, forget the day? If I'm lucky and not in a full-blown flare-up, once I get up and get moving, things will get easier. I can get my game face on and get my game brain on and override the pain to get through the day. Sometimes I'm not so lucky and I can't do that.
Oh, that's understandable. I mean, if you wake up and pain all over your body, why
every day you don't even want to get up. So that's, that's a big challenge to get out of bed.
I don't have fibromyalgia myself, so I try to come up with ways to think, to understand what Alice goes through. And so I try to picture your morning is like waking up with the flu every single day of your life, when you you just feel like you have no energy, you are in pain, and you feel like you got ran over by a Mack truck. And that's probably not exactly what you go through, but that's like the closest I can imagine it to be.
The closest to describing it, yes. It's just, the minute you move, you're going to be in pain, so you don't, and when you do move, that level of pain determines, what kind of day you're going to have. If it is severe, you're in a major flare-up, and it's not going to be a good day. And at that point, you have to sit there and ask yourself, okay, what's on the schedule? What can I possibly get done to be able to call it a productive day without killing myself? And in a really bad flare-up, the answer is nothing. Go back to bed and forget it. Put everything off into tomorrow. And I'm so thankful that at least we work from home. And so our schedule is flexible. We've made it flexible. We've made sure it's nice and flexible, because we know we deal with these health issues, and we have to.
Is depression interlinking with fibromyalgia?
I've heard other people state that their doctors have told them, mine has not, because I'd punch her in the face, honestly, if she ever did. But they have...
Doctor, please don't watch this.
I have actually had people tell me that their doctors have told them that fibromyalgia is caused by their depression. They've got that wrong. They've got it backwards. Fibromyalgia causes depression, because let's face it, folks, if you get up in the morning and you are in so much pain that you're questioning if you want to even make it to the bathroom or not, do you honestly want to go through the pain of putting clothes on? What do you think that's going to do? It is going to put you in depression. Whether you already had it or not is immaterial. You will end up with it. So yes, fibromyalgia and depression do go hand in hand, but depression does not cause fibromyalgia in any way, shape, or form. There's been doctors out there that said, well, the depression manifests pain in your mind. And to me, they're pretty much, that's saying, well, it's just made up in your mind. There's nothing wrong with you.
It's all in your head.
And that's a bunch of BS.
I can understand if they were to say that the depression escalates it to another level.
Yes, because when you've got the fibromyalgia and then you layer depression on top of it, then that is just a double whammy, because then you're fighting two things to get through your day and put on your game face and your game brain and go through, and that is very difficult. And there's days, I did not suffer from depression prior to fibromyalgia, but I can say it definitely has taken its toll on me since.
What is one of the things that, or multiple of the things that you do to try and, get yourself to push forward?
I try to come up with something to look forward to. And, as you know, like Mondays at our house. Mondays at our house is like a weekend day, because quite often we're working on the weekends doing shows and
especially
things
now
like that.
that fall season has hit, we're doing shows.
So I implemented a while back ago, Mondays was a fun day. So I don't do any business on Monday. I don't make any calls on Monday. I don't try to schedule shows on Monday. I don't deal with finances on Monday. I don't do any of that on Mondays, because it blows up in my face every time. Mondays, I usually set aside for like arts and crafts. Currently, we're making wreaths. And so on Mondays, it's wreath day, and we sit down and make wreaths and have fun. And, if we're not making wreaths, we're making something else, just something that's fun, that makes you get out of bed and gives you something to look forward to.
So you like to do something that I like to call non-existent and just go into creative land.
Exactly.
You really don't exist in the present. You just go off in your happy place.
Yeah. And there's been times when I can't really come up with anything fun immediately, but I know I'm going to be working on one of the books and one of the stories. And so I can use that to my advantage and kind of psych my own brain out, going, okay, you're going to be in Dragonos within the next 2 hours. Just get up, get dressed, throw on some comfortable clothes, Don't worry about your hair. Don't worry about your makeup. You're not going anyplace today anyway. Curl up on the couch or in your recliner chair that's got heat and vibrating modes on it and lose yourself in with the dragons. And that helps also, because when you're in, when you can literally put yourself in a story like that, you don't feel the pain that you're in. You can psych your brain out to kind of override that for the time being. Now, the drawback is, as soon as you go to get up out of that chair and go back into reality, it's going to hit you like a rock.
Then you're going to feel it, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to hit you like a rock, but it gets you through that period of time and gives you something to look forward to get dressed and get motivated for the day.
So let's move on to, since we've already talked a little bit about being in show season, how do you handle dealing with fibromyalgia and show season? Because show season requires a lot out of you.
Yes, it does.
Quite often you're working all weekend. There is no downtime in the weekend. And then you have a very short time between one show and the next show on this following weekend to recover. And I know from watching it personally that sometimes, most of the time, is not enough time to recover from a fibro flare.
No, it's not. Well, I mean, right now we've got a show in 2 days.
Yeah.
3 days. Saturday. We're leaving Friday to go up there. I've been in a flare-up for a week and a half now. That's, at that point, you have no choice but take your medicine with you, hope and pray it works, and you push through it. You just push through it, and you see the end of the tunnel when you get home. Quite often, God bless my husband, Mr. Brown, will say, just pull the car in, leave everything, just drag your butt in the house, and I'll unload it for you. And I'm so very thankful
Lady
for that.
V, drag your mother inside the house.
Because otherwise I'd just be like, yeah, just leave it. Just leave everything in the car.
He says to take the little collapsible wagon for supplies if we have to tote it. I'm actually starting to wonder if he says take the wagon to drag your mother inside the house.
Can I get in that wagon? You can just pull me to the car after the show.
Well, I can get you in the wagon. It's getting you back up out of the wagon when you got to stand up that might be the problem.
That might be difficult.
So
that is just a push through. I mean, you have no other choice.
Yeah, I would imagine you play a game like, let me just get to Sunday and then I can collapse.
Yeah, I am very thankful, and I remind myself during those times that people that have fibromyalgia and other chronic illnesses have to do this day in and day out with full-time jobs outside of the work, in the workplace. And they, where I have the majority of my time is on a flexible schedule. I can say, I don't feel good today. I'm taking a down day. I'll do a little bit of writing, but that's it. There are a lot of people out there that don't have that choice, that have to get up, that have to go to work, no matter how much pain they're in. And I remind myself of that, of how very lucky I am. And I sit there and go, all right, Alice, this is just a day show, or this is just a 2-day show. This is just a weekend. Just get through the weekend, and then you can collapse. And quite often I do. As soon as we get home, that, the next day or two, I am in bed pretty much for the day, doing nothing, just trying to get my body to recuperate. So that's how that's handled.
Mr. Brown was really sweet. Last year doesn't count because there was no shows last year.
We had no shows at all.
But the prior show, 2019 shows, we did one at NC State University because at the time I was teaching there as a beading instructor because I was doing beading. I remember coming home from that show to a hot home-cooked meal because Mr. Brown had stayed home with, at the time we had an older cat and our dog Shadow, and made us a nice roast in the crock pot.
Yes,
and it was so nice.
Well, not only that, but that was a Saturday and Sunday show. And I was so flared up after Saturday. It started Friday night.
Yeah.
We had to be there Friday night. Yeah, set up and Friday night.
Well, they have a little get together for all the vendors to be able to go around and see each other's, because once the doors open on Saturday, that is it.
Yeah, it's a madhouse.
It is a madhouse. It really is. It's a fantastic show, but it's a madhouse.
Yeah, and I was so exhausted and hurting Saturday that Sunday morning he got up and went with Lady V to do the show because I was down. Now that we've switched over,
he had quite a bit of fun staying on his toes, bagging.
Yes, I know. Yeah, he told me all about it. You kept him on his toes.
I did.
Unfortunately, now that we're back in the writing, I can't do that because I need to be there to sign books and things like that. As your name
is on the books.
Yeah. So that, you know, I'm just going to have to push through. Show season is not all year, thank God.
It's not every weekend of the year.
I know that, you know, like right now, I'm psyching myself up going, okay, you've got 2 months that are back to back with shows. Just get through it, and then you're down for the entire holiday season. You're down for the entire month of December. I scheduled no shows. I will not schedule any.
Scheduling shows in December because it takes so long for you to recuperate. After doing show season, we want you to be able to enjoy the actual holiday season.
Otherwise, there would be no baking, there would be no decorating, there would be no nothing.
We've got friends and family we love to get together with during the holiday season, and in order to enjoy that, we have to stop at the last weekend of November in order for that to happen.
Very true, very true. Otherwise, you're portraying your pain to them, and that's not fair to them. And I caught myself doing that this past weekend. We went to South Carolina to see some friends of ours.
First time any of us had ever been to Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach, and I was in excruciating pain. And I knew I was driving. Mr. Brown went with us, and so he drove us. But once we got there, the ladies all went out shopping. I knew I was driving, and so I couldn't take any of the medicine. And by the time we got finished, I was in so much pain, and I was snapping, and I knew it. I knew I was coming across really ill.
Thankfully, Rita understands you.
Yes,
and was so kind.
She is. She is an angel. Once we got back, and I knew I didn't have to drive that anymore that day. And I could take some medicine. Within about an hour after that, I started feeling better and, could enjoy the rest of the day.
So, and what you just said leads to another thing that I wrote down to ask you about is the medicine, because I know that there is actual medication out there prescribed by doctors to patients for fibromyalgia and lupus. You don't take those, and I was hoping you could explain why and what you do to compensate with it.
Well, I don't have lupus, so I have heard that the lupus medicine has a lot of bad side effects. But for the fibromyalgia, there is
Gabapentin?
Well, Gabapentin is what I was on, and it's like the generic form of another medicine, and I don't remember what that medicine is. It starts with a C, if I'm not mistaken.
I will look it up and leave the name of it here on the screen for you, because I honestly don't remember it either.
My doctor put me on Gabapentin, and I want to say Cymbalta, but Cymbalta is I'm pretty sure it's a depression medicine, so it's not that, but it's something similar to that. But the Gabapentin that she put me on, she explained to me that it had the lesser of the side effects than the other one. And so I said, okay. I went on it. I was on it for a couple years. I didn't feel like it was doing any good whatsoever. And so I went off of it. I went off of it New Year's Day. It was one of my New Year's resolutions that I was giving up soda, and I was going to get off that Gabapentin and learn to live life without it. It literally hit me like a rock. I was in bed for 3 months on my back, not being able to move because I was in so much pain. But during that time, on my back, doing absolutely no exercise, people, no nothing. I wasn't even walking.
Mine is, the few feet from the bed to the bathroom.
Exactly. I dropped 30 pounds. And so I was like, okay, we're on to something here. So for the next couple of years, I had the Gabapentin. And I would, when I went into a major flare-up, I would go on it and then go right back off of it as soon as I came out of it. And was it 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago?
3 years ago. Minus the year that doesn't exist.
Yeah. I went to a pain clinic because I have problems with my shoulder. And I was talking to them about it. And I happened to mention, well, I go on and off of it. And she about had a fit on me. And she's like, no. That upsets me. She said, Alice, you need to make a decision. You need to get on that medicine and stay on it, or get off of it and stay off of it. And the reason why is because every time you put yourself on and off of that medicine, you increase your chance of stroke. And I had no idea about that at all.
That was a nice little wake-up call.
Yes, that was a very big wake-up call. And so I went, okay, then we're off of it, because I don't like the side effects on it. I didn't see where it did that much good to begin with. I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't a miracle drug by any means. And so I went off of it, and I've been off of it ever since. Now, I do have a couple things that I do rely on.
I was gonna say you have spent the years.
We own stock in Aleve because I take it like crazy.
I was gonna say you have spent the past couple of years since then trying to find something that is a little healthier and not as damaging to your system, but still works, which is not an easy feat, people.
No, it's not at all.
So what do you have for us?
I started off when CBD took off and became real popular. I started off with that, just testing it to see if it would work. I got a little bit of relief, nothing major. So then I found out about Delta 8. Now, Delta 8 is
it's a derivative from the marijuana plant.
Yeah, well, so is CBD.
Yeah.
Okay, but it doesn't have the hemp in it. The THC. Or the THC, rather. The THC that, that gets you stoned does not have that in it, so it is legal here in the States. I can't state, I have no idea what it's like for other countries, but here in the States, it is legal. But Delta 8 is I considered a stronger version of CBD.
A stronger version of hemp and CBD, I would say.
So, and I found these gummies. They're Delta 8 gummies. You can get them in different flavors.
Be very careful with these because they taste just like the Sour Patch watermelon.
Yeah, you want to keep them out of your kids' reach, that's for sure. But you can order these online. There's numerous places out there that are selling them. You just go out there and do a search for Delta 8. They've got chocolate bars now that are in Delta 8 that are so good. But word of warning.
What is your new statement on chocolate?
Oh, my statement in chocolate for chocolate is if your chocolate does not have you feeling like $1 million, you obviously are eating the wrong chocolate.
Pretty good chocolate advice, I would say.
So, but if you are suffering from debilitating pain, try this because it is all natural for the most part. And it does help. It does help out a lot.
Two other segments in this that I would like to go over eventually is dealing with chronic migraines and a severe menstrual cycle, which I deal with. And I have myself found relief using Delta 8. So stay tuned for the next 3 parts of this video.
Yes. And
going over those. Yeah. Because I think that these subjects are something that people really need to talk about. Yes. It's not talked about very often, and we need to talk about it.
Yeah, we do. Because there's people that are suffering in silence. And I hate to see that. I really do. Because there's answers out there. They're not easy to find, but there are answers. So this is something that I have found some really good relief on. Something else that a friend of mine just recently turned me on to, and it really helps, and that is, it's called Mountain Ice. And we will leave their website link to the bottom. I believe it's mountainice.com.
I'm going to see if I can link the website that you get the gummies from.
Okay, you should be able to. Okay, now this comes in roll-on or a cream. I got the cream. I didn't realize there was a roll-on, but I will be replacing this with roll-on eventually. And you just rub it in, and it is very similar to like your mineral ice or your ice blue, or there's BioFreeze. There's 101 different brands out there.
I think that one's a little stronger though.
This one I seem to get a little bit more relief. This has got a lot of really good like turmeric and glucosamine.
Which glucosamine is really good for your joints.
Tea tree oil, vitamin E. Things like that. So there's a lot of really good natural products in this. And if you're paying, my thing is can I take a bath in this? Because when I'm in a flare-up, that's what I need. But what I do is I sit there and analyze my body. Okay, where is the majority of the pain coming from? Where is the main pain coming from?
Quite often yours will come from your shoulder or your
low back, or my feet, or my worst. Those 3 areas are my absolute worst. And so I will lather up with this and, just have somebody put it on my back, and I can do my feet myself, and it does help. It'll give me several hours of relief where at least I can keep going. So believe me when I say a bottle of this will be packed for our shows. If you happen to come see us and you smell a menthol, it'll be coming from me. Just know I'm doing it to get through the show. So.
Now, how does it feel to not really be able to work outside the house? I mean, yes, you do shows during show season, but aside from that, you have openly stated, thank God I don't work outside the house, because doing a 9-to-5 job would just kill you. Talk a little bit about that with us.
As far as I'm concerned, anybody who suffers from fibromyalgia, I think they ought to be automatically exempt from working outside the house, period. I mean, I think personally, if it was me, I would, you know, anybody that got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, fill in that Social Security form, put the word fibromyalgia, and as long as you've got a doctor backing that up, that should be a hands down, fine, you're disabled. End of story.
2024, vote for Alice Brown. Sorry, I had to.
Because there's just no way. I mean, there's just no way you can do it. I mean, you know, there's fun things. Like the last time we were at Disney was before I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Mm-hmm. I look at that now. I would love to go back to Disney. I honest to God don't know if I could or not. I don't know if I could make it. I mean, we did, what was it, a week? We were there a week, 5 days, yeah. I believe we were there 5 days, if I'm not mistaken.
I would say at this point you would have to you'd have to take certain measures in order to go. And definitely comfortable walking shoes.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that 5 days in a row. Now, to do a day and then maybe a break for a day or two and then do another day, I could quite possibly do that. But 5 days in a row, that would be pushing it. That's one of the reasons, you know, I'm hesitant on our big shows, you know, like fairgrounds and stuff like that. It's 10 days long. Even her fiance, he had talked to me about getting into one of the fairs up in New Jersey, and then ended up taking a step back and going, you know, Alice, you might want to rethink that, because it was either 10 or 14 days. I know it was long. And he says, you know, I know you're going to be in a lot of pain. There's no way you're going to make it through that period of time.
And he realized with the books, there was no backup.
No, there's not.
To Alice.
I mean, you know, I have to be there just like you do. We both have to be there to each show. It's not like I can send Mr. Brown to my place if I'm down for the day. I can't do that. I have to be there.
What does your good day look like? What does a good day with fibromyalgia look like?
A good day with fibromyalgia, you really can't tell me apart from anybody else. I mean, I can function in life pretty much like everybody else does. You know, I'm in my 50s, so, you know, there's limitations there. I mean, I'm not going to go jogging 3 miles down the road, but, you know, I can function pretty good in life. There's aches and pains that are going to be there at this point. Part of it is arthritis, part of it is the fibromyalgia, and there's days where, you know, okay, the fibromyalgia is not in full force. It's a fairly good day. The back pain will make itself known, and it's still there, and I'm like, yeah, I've learned to live with that at this point. I fell backwards twice, standing on stools, cleaning, and things like that.
Alice has now been banned from standing on anything above a foot over the ground level.
The second time that I fell backwards, I blacked out and
scared the mess out of me.
Yeah, because she was home by herself. Mr. Brown was in the military at the time. I was trying to get up above some cabinets. I blacked out. My shoulder went through a wall. Literally went through a wall. I had a big hole in the wall.
Yeah, her shoulder went through the wall, dented the floor, and landed up against the hot water tank that was behind the wall.
Yeah. And so my back is messed up.
We also had to replace the hot water tank.
My back's messed up for life for that. But I mean, I can get through quite a bit. You know, I know I have limitations, and I know what they are, but I can go around them and live life pretty normally.
So the last thing that I have written down to question you on is kind of one of my favorite things to tease you about as well. And there is an emoji that I have now associated with this, and I will leave that up on the screen. Fibro fog.
Oh, Lord.
It is a real thing, people. It really is.
It really
Grocery
is.
shopping with fibro fog is quite hysterical.
Oh, yeah. Because you're in the middle of the grocery store or Walmart or any other store, you know, and you've got a list in front of you, and all of a sudden your mind just goes blank. And you're like, what am I doing here? What am I, wait a minute, where? It's blank. There's nothing there.
That is when you take Alice's hand and go, come on, let me have the list. You hang on to the basket and we'll get through this. Thank God I know everything that is bought for this household.
Yes. And in all honesty, on those days, I would never walk out this door by myself to try to go shopping in any way, shape, or form. I either have Mr. Brown with me or Lady V, one or the other, to be my backup.
At this point, you've come to know when you feel the fibro fog coming on or when it's there to go, I need a little bit of help.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself, when you have to admit that you need a little bit of help, is a stumbling hurdle block in its own.
For somebody that has been so independent all
oh my
their
God,
life.
you are like the most independent person I've ever met.
Yeah,
You're
to
stubborn
actually,
and independent to the nth degree.
Yeah, to actually have to openly go, I need some help. I can't do this, I can't do that, is a huge, huge stumbling block for somebody that is very, very independent. But I have learned over time. I know, and I love you too.
I'm gonna start crying here again.
It's okay.
Lord have mercy.
But it's something that I've gotten used to, and at this point I'm like, it's okay to admit that you can't do everything. I lost my cape a while back ago. My Superwoman cape had disappeared. I don't know what happened to it, but I'm about to make one for Lady V though, because she deserves one. Just for dealing with me.
Learning to fill in your shoes when you go down has been a job in itself.
And I am very thankful that I have her, because she can run this house just as well as I do. So if I am going down,
not every time does everybody want to listen to me, but I can do it.
Yes, you do.
Mainly the animals don't want to listen to me.
I was gonna say,
Grandma's down. We don't want to listen to you.
There has been times when your father has said that he thinks he has two wives, because I'm down and this one takes over and she's like, this needs to be done, that needs to be done, this needs to be done, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. And he's just
I want it all done by 5 o'clock tonight.
And he's just like, okay. Who died and left you? Oh, wait a minute, where's your mother?
Military father, independent mother.
It's there.
You don't need to say anymore.
Nope. So that pretty much wraps up our fibromyalgia,
so. Again,
chronic illness.
If there is anything that we missed or anything you would like to know further, please leave a comment below.
We would like to
answer it as best we can.
Mm-hmm. We certainly can. So we're going to switch gears a little bit now to talk about the update on the book.
Yes.
As of right now, we do not have Fire and Ice paperbacks in yet, and I'm strongly questioning, because they haven't even sent me an email saying that they're in the mail. So I don't know. Next Tuesday is the release, the official release date. I don't know if we're going to have paperbacks in on that day or not. I'm still hoping, but there's a chance they may be running a little bit late. However, we are still going full steam ahead. At this point, everything has been formatted for the ebook, so we went ahead and did that early, knowing that we have a show coming up this weekend. We didn't want to come back Sunday and be rushed and be stressed trying to get it. So we went ahead and did all that work ahead of time. We're just ready to hit that publish button. We are currently also working on Ivermantis,
which we'll leave a picture up above for you
right now. You will
is.
see on your screen the update on that, which comes from our website. We update that weekly. We're currently sitting at 85%. We've not gotten as much work on that done as I had hoped, but we also are getting ready for shows.
I was going to say, we've been kind of scrambling this week, trying to make sure that everything is in order, having taken a whole year off from shows.
Yes,
to make sure we're
there's a lot. Well, and I did not get ready for just one show. We've got 3 shows back to back with absolutely no break whatsoever. And so I literally made sure we were prepared for all 3 of those shows. So we're fully stocked and ready to go. Everything's ready to go out in the car, and we're ready to hit that. So, but at 85%, we have gotten some work done. It's been great work. Where we are now in the book, all the information or all the writing that we're doing is brand new. So that takes time. That takes a bit more time than if you're just reading what's already there and adding to it or rewording it to make it sound better or however. Putting it all from scratch, from in here to down on your computer, takes a bit more time, because then you've got to go back through afterwards and reread your work and make sure it sounds good and make sure it flows good and it fits in with what was currently there and everything meshes, perfectly and all that stuff. So that's where we're at on that.
I want to take a minute now that you're explaining that on adding new stuff in, is I have had several people from when we were previously writing ask me, what is the difference? Is it really worthwhile for me to repurchase your book? And I'm going to give you a physical example. Here is the original copy of Sci-Fi. Very thin. Here is the new copy of Sci-Fi now. Much bigger. All this is brand new. So if you compare these, yes, this original book is slightly taller, but that slight height difference does not make up for the width.
No, not at all. We are adding, on average, anywhere from 20 to 30,000 new words in each one of these books that we are re-putting out.
When we started writing the Dragons Dragonos series, this was our first time wanting to really step out of our comfort zone. We had been writing paranormal romance, but we wanted to step into the sci-fi fantasy realm.
Well, we did write paranormal romance, but the emphasis was on romance.
Yes.
And we are now trying to change that and put the emphasis more on the sci-fi part of it.
The story and the
yes,
sci-fi.
there's still romance in there. It has been scaled down, and there's a lot more sci-fi, a lot more meat to the story than we've ever put in.
Obviously. You know, you grow as an author. You grow as a human being. No matter what you do, you grow. And that is definitely shown in this book, that we started with this and we have now come to this. Even, I would say, a little shout out to our cover artist, Jess, who has done both covers.
Yes, she has.
At the time when this book came out, I thought this was the best it could be. And she, once again, proved me wrong and wowed the mess out of me with this one.
Yes,
because
yeah,
this is everything I could ever dream of.
And I've heard a couple complaints from prior readers that, you know, oh, we miss seeing the good-looking men and, you know, things. And that's fine. I understand that. But we're trying to branch out into a whole different field. We want to include more of the younger generation. We want to include even some of your males that, you know, get into reading.
And of course, men, they're not going to read a romance.
They're really not going to, yeah, this looks a little bit more, a little too romantic for a man to pick up. But this, I've had numerous men already go, wow, and do a double take on this book. So I love these covers. Jess, you rock, honey. You really do. You rock.
So to show that you grow as a writer or cover artist, that is the physical difference for you. And yes, there is a reason for you to purchase this a second time, because there is so much that is different. And of course, I don't have the copy the new copy for Fire and Ice to really be able to compare to its original cover, but its original cover is just as thin as the original Sci-Fi, and it has come.
Fire and Ice will end up being just a little bit bigger than this, because it's somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 more words than Sci-Fi did, is what we ended up with.
And this time around, as we have explained in past Wednesday videos, that there are new characters that have been introduced into this book that will lead to a future series, and that in itself, I think, is worthwhile to repurchase the book, because that leads to a whole new thing.
And those characters did not exist in the original book. They weren't even, we hadn't even created them yet at all. So
there is our little update for the Dragon books.
Yeah, our Wednesday update on everything. So we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to hit the like button, slap it, hit it, whatever you want to do.
Smash it,
whatever, you know, whatever floats your boat, do it.
Smash it, smack it. I don't care. Do whatever.
If you've not subscribed, please do so and hit the bell next to it so that YouTube will alert you to any new videos we put out. Our books are behind us. They're also linked down below on the website. We have them in paperback form and in all ebook formats. Fire and Ice, as Lady V just said, is coming out next Tuesday. Is the release date for that.
Excited.
So we are rocking on. We hope you join us and become a fan. We'd love to hear from you.
And do stay tuned for our future Running a Business with a Chronic Illness.
Oh yes, part 2,
3, and 4 that we will end up doing.
So until next time, we hope you have a great day.